This is Joe Smith from the Midwest Football Podcast. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It all helps us grow our show. Look for our full show, too, anywhere you find podcasts. Links below.
I think that this is the most fascinating of any of our teams for the draft based on their capital. I mean, you're talking, you got the sixth pick, the 18th, you got 48, and I think it's 55, both the second round picks. That's a lot of good draft capital you've gotten from the TJ Hawkinson trade, et cetera, and the Matt Stafford trade. Now, I agree with you with the sixth position. That is, in my opinion, the most fascinating position to be in because let's say it goes chalk and you have three quarterbacks taken and two defensive players taken, Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. Now you're in a really tough spot because the best player on the board is probably Christian Gonzalez or Devin Witherspoon, who both play cornerbacks. And I don't think you guys want to see the Lions take another cornerback this high after the Okuda issue. Then it's, do you take Will Levis or Anthony Richardson or CJ Stroud, whoever falls to that position? Ideally, someone gets excited for that last quarterback and you can trade back.
Well, there's also Tyree Wilson up there. So my thought is Tyree Wilson and Will Anderson go, and the Lions have the chance of Jalen Carter or not. Whatever of the top four quarterbacks happens to be left over, or the next tier of prospects.
And I think that is the hope, in my opinion, because Tyree Wilson is very similar to the Trayvon Walker profile, where he didn't produce a lot in college, but he had the great measurables. I think the Tyree Wilson stuff has cooled a little recently because he has not done any workouts for teams, including a pro day, which if some guy is off the charts athletic, teams want to see it, like they did with Trayvon at the combine last year or Anthony Richardson this year. And I agree. If Tyree Wilson sneaks into that top five, I think six becomes a perfect position to be in because now you have gotten another great blue chipper to follow you guys at six, whether it be Jalen Carter, a quarterback, or Will Anderson. Whereas like last year, you guys sat two and you got the best lineman in the draft because the Jaguars overdrafted Trayvon. And then 2 years ago, you guys got Penei Sewell, who's probably the best lineman in that draft to fall to you guys. And I think Holmes is probably in position to do that again.
I haven't heard any of Tyree Wilson's hype train slowing down personally. I mean, I'm now hearing him routinely connected to 2 and 3 in the draft. And go ahead.
As a Bears fan and a Lions fan talking to, I hope that's true because I'm not that excited by him. And I think that actually brings me to a good point is that when you look at the teams that have done the weirdest stuff off the boards of the last 10 years, it's New England. Doesn't affect you guys, but we can come back to that in a little bit. But it's also the Seahawks. Last year when they took Cross, it was the first time they kind of went with the consensus. And since they built the Legion of Boom, I could see Seattle taking Tyree Wilson. The Cardinals are a weird team, and I think their new coach is a defensive guy from Philly. He probably wants a defensive end, so he might take one. I've also even heard rumors that the Texans have soured on all the non-Bryce Young quarterbacks and might just take Will Anderson for DeMeco Ryans to build his defense around. And if any of those things happen, Detroit's in a great position. So it's a weird spot where I think when we're watching that draft on Thursday, those first five picks are going to be as exciting as the pick the Lions make themselves.
They're in a really good position unless they've already decided they want no piece of Jalen Carter. And then it is Alka-Seltzer to the rescue.
Yeah. Well, the good news is this isn't like the Laramie Tunsil thing where the news broke on draft day. At least the news broke a month ago. So the Lions have had a lot of time to do their due diligence. So, and hopefully they have done it. And hopefully it was just a one-off mistake. And he can make whoever drafts him proud, especially if he falls to one of our teams.